Hi everyone, it's Jen from Travel Hackers Go. Today we're going to take a look at our flight options with Google Flights. One thing I like about Google Flights is that you can choose a particular area or part of the world if you're not really certain about what destination you want to go to, but you just know you want to take a trip. So we're taking a look here at Nashville, Tennessee, looking at destinations in Europe. And we're going to pick a couple of dates. We're going to look at October the 14th through, let's say, the 22nd, Saturday to Sunday. Now you can choose whether you want to choose a nonstop flight or a certain number of flights. Depending on where you live, you may not have a lot of nonstop options. You can choose your alliance if you're trying to earn miles, if you're trying to get that last trip in of the year. You can check your departure or arrival times. This is important because sometimes you want to arrive or depart a city by a specific time. I want to arrive a little bit earlier so that I can get back and pick up Travel Dog Duke from his doggy daycare. And then you can also choose whether you want to show one-way flights or connecting flights as well. As we make these changes, you'll see that the boxes down here at the bottom of the page show a lot of different information, different cities that we could go to, including the prices that are included for those particular cities. So let's take a look at some of our options here. And I'm going to scroll down. Let's take a look at what's one of our less expensive fares, because depending on our budget, we may want to save some on the airfare, splurge a little in another area. Looks like we've got Copenhagen there from $1,048. So we're going to take a look at that, click on Show Flights, and look at what our flight options are. Now, don't be alarmed. You'll see that there are some other flight options there that have higher prices than the $1,048 we initially saw, but as we scroll down, we can see that there are several different options. You'll want to take a look and make sure that you're making note of the number of stops, where those stops are. You can track your prices if you want to track and see if a fare is going to go down. You can also go back to the map if you want to take a look and see what are other options that you may have. The great thing is that Google Flights does give you the lowest price, but then they also give you the number of stops, the flight duration. You may want to build in a layover. If you can take 5 or 6 hours in a different city that you've never visited before and go out, have lunch, explore, that might be worth that to you to do that. So let's take a look at some of the other options we have. I'm just kind of moving around the map, zooming in. You can see we've got Paris there for $1,007. Each one of those red dots with a city beside the name represents an airfare. So we can choose any of those if we want to look at Frankfurt, Brussels. Let's take a look at this one and see what our options are. And again, in the left-hand side there, all of our fares for Brussels start to come up. As those fares populate, we see $1,049 is our lowest fare to Brussels. Again, we can take a look and see. It looks like that's going to be TAP Portugal and JetBlue. Now, in this case, we would probably take JetBlue from Nashville to whatever the gateway city is, in this case, Boston, and that would be a round trip. And then we would also take a round trip on TAP from Boston over to Brussels. And there may be a stop there. There may be another connection in there as well. As we look, we can take a look at the return flights. Looks like we have a different return flight, which is absolutely fine as long as you're using all of your segments. So a quick recap, remember to access Google Flights at google.com/flights. You can choose a region or everywhere to explore flights within your budget. Don't forget to check the number of connections and layover times to maximize your options. And remember, you can specify as much or little information as you'd like. That's it for our first glance at Google Flights. I'm Jen from Travel Hackers Go.